Now, is it because he's got the wrong sort of fan? Is it because fans of Jack Kirby are people like us, beautiful people, but people that don't mix with the outside world and have our own little?
Yeah.
Well,
Frank Zappa, yeah.
That's a fine example. Well done. Yes, Frank Zappa, Jack Kirby, and Frank Zappa. Jack does have a crossover interest. Lots of famous people, famous and influential people, love Jack Kirby and are outspoken about it. And you'd think that would cross over, wouldn't you? And you'd think, well, if you're a fan of Frank Zappa, you'll get looking into Frank Zappa, and Frank Zappa like Jack Kirby, and it doesn't seem to happen.
That's because he draws comics.
Well,
and it's people's perception of comics. You'll have 2 million people go to see the Spider-Man movie, but only in this country 5,000-10,000 people read the comic.
Yeah, well, I know you own a comic shop, don't you? And
Yeah.
I would expect when the films first came out, great, loads of people buy comics, and that wasn't really the case, was it?
Yeah, it actually puts comic readers off when a movie's made of their film.
Yeah, puts me off. But all the same, that was my point with science and boxing, really. You'd think because the film's being made, and because he has so many influential fans, and because he's had such a wide ranging, even though I don't expect everyone to read his comics, but you would expect him to get the recognition and at least know his name, and that doesn't happen. Jack Kirby and Paul McCartney.
Who's Paul McCartney?
Paul McCartney. He was in a sort of skiffle group.
Yeah.
Can you name a famous vegetarian sausage maker?
Linda McCartney.
There you go.
Yeah. Jack Kirby was friends with one of the most famous vegetarian soy food manufacturers in the world. So you'd think all vegetarians would by proxy be Jack Kirby fans. It doesn't happen. That's the sketch that Jack gave to Wings. There's a song on one of the Wings albums.
Venus and Mars, isn't it? It's on the album, isn't it?
Titanium
Man, yeah.
Magneto and Titanium Man. I don't know. It's great when you talk to people that know everything about it, because it's like just chatting to people that know everything already. Famous fans, Kevin Smith. People hate Kevin Smith, but he's a big Jack Kirby fan. He played a character called Jack Kirby in the Daredevil movie. And he's currently in the media and currently making films. Gene Simmons, another really current artist that's a massive fan of Jack Kirby, who owns a lot of Jack Kirby art. Robin Williams owns a lot of Jack Kirby art. Jonathan Ross named one of his children after Jack Kirby, which is, you're a big fan of your name. It's a cool name, Kirby. I recommend anyone here that's pregnant. Kirby is a great way of spreading the news about Jack Kirby, so just bear that in mind. Nicolas Cage often says, and that's a great photo, isn't it? I've actually not chosen that one. Reprobates Jack Kirby fan. But he, in an interview recently, he said that the person that had the most influence on him as a child was Stanley and Jack Kirby. As the leader of the free world, reading the New Gods story, The Pact, in a completely unaltered photograph that I made earlier. I think that if people are that influential, Farmer is a comics fan, but he's never actually per se promoted Jack Kirby, but it's certainly a possibility. So there's a lot of influence out there, and my point is that all those famous people show that Jack Kirby has such a wide-ranging impact on people. It's so surprising that he hasn't had more recognition, and it's the world over. And he does have a lot of loyal fans. I mean, it's nice to see all you here. And when you meet a Kirby fan, they're almost quite rabid about it. They're interested and they want to spread the news. Because when you go to that class, every hand should be up, really, or some of the hands should be up. Because Jack Kirby was the Bill Gates of comics. He was the Kevin Keegan of comics. And he was the Elvis of comics. He was the king of comics, wasn't he? And the films, comics, toys, books. When he was alive, he made a lot of money. There's a picture of money there. Just to really hammer that point home. Jack Kirby other people made a lot of money off him when he was alive. And he died in '94. In '95, Marvel made $50 million in merchandising of mostly off Kirby characters. I know Marvel went bankrupt and went down, but over the years, with especially recently, because I think in a few years ago, when CGI got to the point where Jack Kirby's comics could be made into films that really captured what he was able to do, I expected there to be an explosion of interest in Jack Kirby. The second Fantastic Four movie was supposed to have a documentary called Jack Kirby Storyteller on it, and the DVD came out, it wasn't on it, and I bought the DVD, disappointing. Then I heard it going on a special edition, and then a special edition came out, and I bought that, and it wasn't on that either. And the documentary actually got released on the US version of the special edition. So it's almost like someone's trying to hide Jack Kirby from us. Maybe there's a conspiracy. Does anyone think there's a conspiracy? Don't admit it if you do. It'll get you. But it's a lot of money. It's not just thousands in fact, it's not millions of dollars, it's $1 billion industry. Marvel bought DC for Disney bought Marvel for I think 400 million. Is that right?
Not sure what they're paying.
I'm sorry, I don't know. Do you not know?
I don't know that one, no.
Gentlemen knows there, won't you? When the CIA bought yeah, but it's such a massive industry. It almost boggles the mind that one man who died in 1994 can still be driving so many of the big box office films that we see now. And one of the motivations behind so much money changing hands caused the Kirby kids. I think there's everyone but Lisa there, the Kirby family, to try and sue the new owners of Marvel, Disney, and try and get the rights back to the family. The court case is trying to purport that in the 50s and 60s, when Jack was creating these characters, the ownership should go back to them in 2014 onwards, because they weren't getting any recompense. Now, you might argue, well, they're the kids of Jack Kirby, they don't deserve any recompense, but when it's such an extreme case, these termination notices that they serve to Marvel helps to highlight that Jack Kirby isn't getting that recognition. And in July 2011, the courts actually decided in Marvel's favour. So, again, that didn't really make the mainstream. It actually made the New York Times, but most people you talk to still haven't heard that. But that's all in the past, and what I really want to talk to you about is 2012. What's happening this year with Jack Kirby? Because the argument for Kirby's work getting the recognition it deserves wouldn't be so strong if it wasn't for the fact that his influence is still relevant today. Because if you think of the films people saw at the cinema last year and this year and next year, so many of them are based on Jack Kirby creations, aren't they? We've got the Avengers film, haven't we? That's got a big one, but there's loads more. But when I find it in my notes where I've written it down, I'll tell you. The court case is still ongoing. And court cases are never quick, but on January the 25th this year, Mark Toberoff, the attorney, put in the official appeal. And he said he wanted to make it clear that it wasn't about Stan Lee versus Jack Kirby or Stan Lee creating the Marvel Universe. It was about whether the work Jack Kirby did between 1958 and 1963 came under the umbrella of work for hire or not. So I mean, it's a little point, but that's, if they can prove it, then Disney goes under. Which would be great, wouldn't it? Right? How about that? And there's the it's not a very interesting slide, but that's the appeal letter that Toberoff put in a few weeks ago. There's a Jack Kirby comic coming out next week by Blue Water Comics. I just thought I'd give them the plug because it's out in a couple of days, but I know nothing about it. It might be here. You know? The film, now, this will surprise you all because you won't have heard about it. There was the CIA plot I was talking about before, is actually they're making a film. They're not making the film, they're making a film about the fake film that saved the hostages. And you'll be surprised to hear that Ben Affleck is directing it. And that's out next year. So that's a bit of recognition for Jack Kirby. The interesting thing is, for the first time, Jack Kirby's going to be portrayed on screen as Jack Kirby, and this gentleman Michael Parks will be playing Jack Kirby. So if you're a Kirby fan, it'd be interesting to see that film and see how they portray Jack. I don't know how big a part he's got in the film, but he's in quite a few of the stills I've seen, so hopefully that'll be interesting. Jack Kirby has been in a film portrayed by someone else once before, but it was a really, really bad Spanish film, and it was only a short.
Is it a porno?
It wasn't a specialist film, no. But it wasn't very good. The Avengers movie. Well, I did a list of all the other movies that are coming out, and the ones I didn't even know about, and I thought was a fan. Next year, there's another Spider-Man movie coming. There's X-Men Origins Magneto coming out soon. I think it's 2013. Iron Man 3, Thor 2. There's another FF movie in the works. Do you know there's an Inhumans movie? It's in pre-production there. I know a lot of them get stalled, but X-Men First Class 2. So X-Men Second Class, we're going to call that. Another thing, at the start of the month, a guy called Brian Munn started an online petition, probably inspired by the court case, to get people to give credit and royalties to Jack Kirby and his family. And that screenshot's from yesterday, and 1,124 people have signed it. and he's really saying to people, until Jack Kirby gets the recognition, boycott Marvel products that use Jack Kirby characters. It's going to happen, is it? But it's a nice thought. Would anyone here not go and see the Avengers movie as a stand against Jack Kirby? Good men. Excellent. I'm going to see it.
Liars.